Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you on Business Today Television. We are now looking at a fairly decent opening and possibly a strong close on Monday. You have a 161 point uptick on the Nifty. I'll request the PCI to kindly fire the longer term chart of this index. We are at 24,523 and this is an interesting juncture. One, bulls are putting up a very strong fight at 24,500 and this is also a 3-month low for the index. This was a level last seen in May of 2025, 9th May to be exact. So we are at a 3-month low and very close to 200-day DMA. So basically what is happening is that after a 5.5% correction from 25,600 all the way down to 24,500, you've seen a 2100 point correction. So that's an easy 5.5% from the top, and this is also the 50% rally of the 50% correction of the previous rally that happened. So lots of support coming in here at current levels. Mostly a lot of quarterly earnings are also baked in, and even that session is coming to an end. So basically not much of bad news is now likely to come into the markets. So you see a consolidation phase happening on the Nifty at current levels. So this is how the structure is at this point of time. 167 points higher on Nifty 50. Nifty Bank is 400 points higher, about 55,381. And surprise, it's the Nifty IT index which has been beaten black and blue, now also in the green. What you see on the Nifty IT index is 34,580. This is also the lowest that we've seen since 22nd of April. So again a 3.5 month low as far as the Nifty IT's index is concerned, but terrible pain the IT index went through. In the month of July lost about 11%, from then on about 4.5%. So that's the state of play, primarily on account of very disappointing set of earnings that were reported by frontline IT companies. Advanced decline at the moment is almost 1:1, 1380 shares in the green and 1120 shares in the red. All 19 indices are in good shape. Look at the Nifty PSU index, almost 2% higher, and that's because there is news in the market that the government will now take an opportunity to trim its stakes in 3 or 4 small PSU banks such as Punjab and Sindh Bank, Central Bank of India, where it holds stake in excess of SEBI norms. So the regulator allows promoters to hold a maximum of 75% stake in their listed companies, and stocks such as Central Bank, where government ownership is more than 90%, PSB, where government ownership is more than 75%, is where money has to be, equity has to be diluted. So a bit of an uptick happening on those counters as well. Now let's look at what's interestingly happening in the pullers and draggers section. What has happened is, look at HDFC Bank, SBI. This are the 2 largest contributors to the index. Reliance also. So 23, 15 and 13 points respectively from these 3. L&T and Tata Motors are also contributing to the uptick on Reliance on this Nifty. You have ICICI Bank about 0.5% lower, Bharti 0.5% lower, Hero Motors slipping 0.6%, Power Grid, BEL and Bajaj Finserv also slipping a bit, and all these put together, these 7 stocks that I mentioned, are pulling the index down by 13% collectively. One good stock to look at is HBL Engineering. This is a company that came out with a stunning set of numbers. It's the top traded counter on the NSE 500 and is showing a very sharp uptick of 13%. You've seen the volumes on HBL Engineering rise to about 1700 crores. So this is something to be looked at, and if you look at the long term chart of HBL Engineering, you will see that there's a breakout that's happening now at a 6-month high as far as the counter is concerned. Pain continues on PG Electroplast, the promoters sort of bidding goodbye, and lots of selling pressure. Again 13% lower today, it was down 20% on Friday. So, the pain is fairly strong on this one. Interestingly, let us look at stocks that have hit all time highs. Some names which are always here: Fortis Healthcare 2.2% higher at a fresh record high 917. You have Indian Bank 2.3% higher at 666. So, these are the two brand new companies that are hitting fresh highs in the markets. In terms of volume buzzers, I am sure there is HBL Engines and PGL. Voltas 5% lower on Voltas, and that is because, ladies and gentlemen, this time the summer in North India has not been anything worthwhile as far as AC producers are concerned. Therefore, you see selling pressure on Voltas down at 1240, but the low for today was 1192. So, there is a bit of a recovery from 1192, and 1192, ladies and gentlemen, was the lowest since May 9th. Voltas has also come up with its earnings. Let us just look at Voltas too as far as earnings is concerned. Sales down 20% at 3,940 crores. They are down sequentially over March, and they are down sequentially over the year ago. Profit has slumped 58%, 141 crore rupees for Voltas versus 335 crores in the year ago period and 236 crores in the fourth quarter gone by. So, this ladies and gentlemen is the state of play as of markets are concerned. Let us look at the small cap and the mid cap index as well. There is activity on the long side as far as these indices are concerned. Remember, all 19 are indices are up in the green, and the small cap index is amongst the gainers, 0.3% higher. Mid cap index is 0.84% higher. That is how the structure is of the market at this point of time. When you see some other interesting stocks as far as gains are concerned, let me share quite a few. Look at TVS Supply Chain Solutions. This was a stock that disappointed a lot of long term holders, now is up 11%, and I am fairly sure that is because of earnings that have come in. This stock was touted as quite a big investment, but sadly it is disappointed. Sales are up 2%, 2,592 crore rupees. Net profit is up 19 times, ladies and gentlemen, to 71 crore rupees. 71 crore rupees in the quarter gone by versus 7 crores year ago, and versus a loss in the fourth quarter. So, it is a sequential move towards profit Q4 to Q1 and a sharp 19 times jump over the year ago number. If you look at the TVS Supply Chain Solutions long term chart, there is a large disappointment that is written there. I think the IPO was somewhere like 180 rupees. Stock went all the way up to 254 in the first 2-3 months of trade, and from then on it is a single downward journey, as the chart very well explains. So, this is the state of play of the markets, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of good things to look at, but in terms of trend, whether the worst is behind us, I do not think so, because ladies and gentlemen, there is no volume in the market. Look at SBI, this is the top traded stock within the Nifty, just 930 crores. Reliance 886 crores. ICICI Bank 813 crores, Tata Motors 870 crores. So, volume is missing, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is critical for a reversal to occur in the market. You should have a sharp burst and accompanied by a rise in volume. Markets are doing pretty well intraday, 24,535 for you. As far as Nifty is concerned, now up 174 points. Let's hope we have a strong close and that bulls again regain control of 24,500, which is a very, very critical level for the index. And one more interesting thing I wanted to mention as far as the Nifty is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, the value of the 200-day moving average. That is somewhere in the vicinity of 24,216. Let's hope it's tested once and then we'll have some better ways to look at it. But if you look at how the previous week ended, it was in losses, and that is a 6th week of decline. It's never happened in recent memory unless you look at maybe September 2024, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, this is also not it. So it hasn't happened in recent memory that the Nifty has slipped each week for 6 weeks. So maybe a bounce is for the order for this week. Let's hope that happens, but it always pays to be optimistic, and this could also be the right time to put in that one additional SIP. If you're around 200-day moving average, that's a place of buying rather than regretting. So keep an eye out on a good SIP. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Thank you for watching.
Big round of applause for Montek Singh Ahluwalia, someone who's been intrinsically involved with India's reform story for decades now.